How are you, Mike Hill? This is Ty Core here with The Blast, and it is a blast chatting with you today. Uh,
What's up, Ty?
I'm well. This is an interview that I have been like praying for and like manifesting for like
Man,
a year and a half now. Yeah,
you got
so
the right person? You talking about me?
yeah, we talking about you. We talking about
Okay, all right, okay.
And the reason for that is, being a fellow journalist like myself, to see just like your storytelling and you keeping that traditional roots of an actual reporter really is
Mm,
inspiring for myself because it shows me that true journalism still exists.
mm. Ooh, you're preaching right now, Ty. You're preaching right now. I mean, you kind of hit a little trigger for me. I mean, I enjoy what's going on. Don't get me wrong when it comes to certain blogs out there, certain journalism styles, if you want to say it or whatever, certain news
Right.
organizations. But at the same time, yes, I do appreciate and I respect the ones that have integrity, the ones that follow up, the ones that put out the facts or at least have both sides of the story and not just trying to get something that's salacious. So yes, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you seeing that old school flavor in me as well.
Well, yeah, because I feel like that's what's needed. I think a lot of times we have these clickbaity articles and then
Mm,
people start to unfortunately burn relationships with certain people, and then it just kind of gets murky territory. And then
yeah,
people are left wondering, well, wait, like, why can't I get this name anymore? And it's like, well, let's look at the history, look at what you were saying, and you're not really backing up your facts. So when I see
right.
people like yourself, it really makes me happy. But my
No, I
first,
appreciate that.
of
I
course,
appreciate that. And I'm happy, like, like when you see bloggers who get sued and get sued for millions of dollars or whatever, it makes them think twice. I've been in that situation before where somebody threw out just salacious allegations or somebody would make up a story, take a quote that I said out of context and just throw it out there. And we live in a society, this time, man. It's just, we live in a society where they know that people are just going to believe the headlines and people don't really necessarily read or go deep into details. They just read a headline and then what they do is they'll take that headline and then they'll spread that as gospel without reading the entire story. And then they'll spread it to their friends and their friends spread it to their friends. And next thing you know, you're that headline instead of what's actually in the story, what's actually true. So I appreciate that, man.
well, listen, you'll never get that with me. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
how has your morning been so far? Like, what is a routine, that Mike Hill does in the morning? And is it different from being a single man to now being a married
Oh, yeah. Very different.
man?
Depends on how you want to look at it. Being a single man, how my mornings would have gone. Like sometimes when I was a single man, my mornings wouldn't start until like noon.
Okay.
I'd be out in those streets. I'm just being honest, being straight up with you. Being married, like sometimes I hear my wife getting up. She gets up early in the morning. She goes to sleep late at night. She's just one of the hardest working people I know.
Yeah.
So I have to get up sometimes. I feel like I'm missing out or I feel like I'm slacking off if I don't get up because she's already up, been up since 7 o'clock this morning. But I'll usually sleep in until like 9. I just have to. I got to get my rest, unless I have to get up for a job or something.
Right.
But my mornings kind of dictate about what I have going on that day. So if I
Okay.
have a busy day, if I got these Zooms, if I got meetings, if I got to go to a show or do a show or something like that, or I'll get up early in the morning. If not, I just kind of look at my schedule and just kind of like, okay, I'm going to kind of plan my day around that.
Okay. We on the go kind of breakfast person. Are we having a little spread? Like, how is that? How do we make sure we energize for we are tackling the day?
But the energizing is very important. These days I'm trying to lose some of this weight. I'm trying to get that COVID weight off me. I'm trying to get that slim,
Okay.
sexy.
We in a
Trying to make
gym
that
right
happen.
now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of a certain age. I'll be 52 this year, and I'm just trying to
God
keep
bless.
moisturized and hydrated and keep, trying to look good. But yeah, so I'm up early and I'm drinking like juices or sometimes I'll have a shake or whatever, maybe an egg and some turkey bacon or whatever. That's about it, and keep it going. I used to do oatmeal every single day, and now I got to cut out
Oh,
carbs. So I'm not doing oatmeal right now.
I used to love oatmeal. I used to put a little bit of honey in there, a little bit of fruit in there. You know what I mean? But you look great. I mean, I always say 50s are like the new 40s and 30s. With my mom, whose birthday actually is today,
Happy
she
birthday,
just
mama.
turned, I'll tell her that. She just turned 57. And
What's up?
she looks awesome. Like you couldn't even tell she's in her 50s. So I don't know
That's
what y'all got from that generation, but y'all are really like keeping y'all selves together. So I love that.
it's
Now,
thing.
There's a funny clip by her, Mike.
Mhm.
There's a funny clip that I'm sure you've seen social media. They grab that clip and they play it out a lot. It's a funny clip with you and Cynthia where you had asked her a question.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, I have to ask you this. You asked her a question and she admitted something that was very intimate.
Yeah.
That, you know, she's not a fan of, and your reaction was surprising, as I would assume so.
Right.
Now, did the BNC team at the time, like, did they give you some flack for that? And what was the conversation like when you got home?
What's crazy is I was actually sitting in this chair right here in this studio because I was doing BNC from home. And when it happened, I had no idea. Obviously, I knew I was going to interview her, and I didn't give her the questions in advance. But so I wanted to play that game with her. And yeah, there was a certain thing that I asked her a question. What is one thing that she does for me, but only because she knows I like it, but she hates it? And her answer was, I don't know if I can say it, but her answer was a sexual reverse cowgirl. And it just came out of nowhere. So she asked me, she said, you want me to keep it real? You want me to keep it 100? I'm like, yeah, keep it real, keep it 100. I'm thinking like, cut my toenails. I'm thinking about like going to the movies and seeing a movie that she didn't want to see, but she knows I want to see. I had no idea she was going to say something like that. And so when she said it, it was a delay. And I'm like, did she just... And yeah, that's where my reaction came from. And as far as BNC is concerned, they loved it. I mean, man, it was one of the best clips they had in the year that we were on the air. And they got a lot of notoriety, a lot of publicity, and nobody gave me any slack. And, she was actually downstairs when she did it. So during the break, I went and said, oh, so you don't like the reverse cowgirl, huh? What's wrong? Like, you still like it? You asked if you want to do it. I mean, so like, thank you. I appreciate it. I guess I'll just get it for my birthday and Christmas now.
Right. It's a special occasion. Now let's flip the script on you, Mike. Is there something that, Cynthia does that you may not be super fond of?
That she asked me to do? That I have to
that
do?
She asked you to do.
Oh gosh. Oh, now see, Ty, you're gonna get me in trouble, man. Oh man, there's so many things. I will say there are a lot of things that Cynthia asked me to do that I'm not fond of, but I'll do it because she wants me to. Like, there are certain times she has to go to a dinner with certain people, or if she has to go out and things like that. I don't really feel like doing it all the time, but I know that she does it for me. So she's big on reciprocation. So if it's something that I don't have to do where it's going to cause me to mess up my day, or I am going to miss out on something the next morning, I got to get up early the next morning, I just go ahead and suck it up and do it. I'm not a big red carpet guy. I really am not. I like her to get her shine.
From what I gather, you're a reserved kind of man.
I'm actually anything but reserved, but I just don't like taking pictures because I'm not a good picture taker. You know what I mean? I don't like pose. I feel like it's fake. You know what I mean? Really? If you catch me in a moment, but I don't like to pose. I don't like to do. That's why you see me smiling all the time. That's the only thing she ever taught me how to do is that smiles. You know what I mean? When we're on our Instagram pictures, whatever. But so the smile. So she taught me how to do that. So that's my thing because I don't like my smile. So when we're on the red carpet, I would much rather her be on the red carpet sometimes by herself, because I know people are coming to see Cynthia Bailey. They ain't coming to see me. So it's almost like when you take the picture, like, okay, can we get Cynthia by herself now? Stand your ass over there and let us get Cynthia by herself. And I'm like, okay, well, I didn't really want to be here in the first place. So I'm like,
I want to be on the side anyway.
I didn't want to be over here in the first place. You want her? No. So it's a little bit of an ego damaging thing, a little bit. I admit that, but it's something that she enjoys for me to do, and she wants me to be by her side. So I'm definitely going to be there for her.
Happy wife, happy life, man. I'm
trying to do that.
That's Bible, okay? Now, what's the coolest thing about, Cynthia that you love?
What's what?
The coolest thing about Cynthia that you love.
The coolest thing about Cynthia is Cynthia's sweet, man. Cynthia is a very nurturing person. Cynthia, like, when it comes to people that she does love, people that she does care about, people that show her that love, she shows it back to them. She's got a side to her, just like all of us have a side to her. Don't get me wrong, but she's real nurturing. I think when she's at her sweetest, there's nobody sweeter. I'll just say it that way. So she's just a wonderful person. Like, she'll wake up some mornings and not be in the best of moods, but that's like everybody. That's human. But I just love that about her. I just love that she can be really, really sweet when she wants to be.
I love that. Now, Cynthia, as we all know, Real Housewife. So she's been in the public eye for years. And a lot of times she's sharing a lot of herself, you know, a lot of
Mhm.
personal relationships, personal endeavors, just a lot of personal things on camera.
Yeah.
Now, for yourself, how open are you with that? Like, are you someone who is becoming more open with sharing your personal stuff in the public eye, or do you still try to limit as much as you can? Because you also made appearances on the show as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is a two-pronged question to that, two-pronged answer, I should say to that. When I was on that show with her, there was only so much of my life that I was going to show them
Right.
because I wasn't the one it wasn't my show. It was the Real Housewives, not the Real House Husbands. And I understand there are certain parts of our relationship we had to show, but there are certain parts of the relationship that I told her I refuse to show because it's nobody's business. You know, like you can get a bit of our reality, you can kind of get a sense of who we are, whatever, but I'm not showing you everything because I'm not selling it. If I give it to you, I'm doing it for a purpose. So if you see me on Instagram, I'm very open on Instagram about my battles with mental health, with going to therapy, with anything about me being depressed at times or my anxiety, or just being open when it comes to my stances on what's going on in the world today. You know, so I'm very open when it comes to that. And I think it's really important for somebody who is, and I don't consider myself a celebrity, but I do consider myself a public figure that people sometimes look up to be open
I'm calling
about.
you a celebrity. In my opinion, I think you're a celebrity.
Well, I appreciate that. And and certain people do, but I think it's important because there are people who may look up to you in a certain regards or
Yeah.
see you, and they need to see not just the great things about you. They need to see some of the things that are vulnerable about you as well, so they don't feel like they're alone because they put us on this pedestal and all the face tuning and everything. The pictures got to be perfect and all that type of stuff. The
Airbrush.
captions got to be great. We got to be next to our Mercedes, our G Wagons, and all that type of stuff. I want to tell you, man, I struggle at times when it comes to mental health. I want to tell you that I struggle at times when it comes to fearing that, oh my gosh, am I going next year this time when my savings runs out? If I don't have a job, what am I going to do? I want to be vulnerable and tell people that because I want people to know that just because you see me on television doesn't mean that I'm not human. Doesn't mean that I don't have problems. So I want to share my problems with other people so that they understand that, okay, well, his life isn't perfect. My life isn't perfect. If he can overcome it, then so can I.
Wow. I think that's so real because you don't hear that often or really at all. A lot of times people are, they shield that part of themselves because
Mm-hmm.
social media has its way of, okay, only the positive glitz and the glam you can show. You really can't show the uglier sides that we go through. So
Mm-hmm.
for you to really just go against the grain, you know, I think it's not only just remarkable, but like it's needed. So
And going back to what you said in the beginning, Ty, I believe that I want to do that, and I will continue to do that. But there are some powers that be that will take things out of context. Even when I said something back in October, I did an interview with a podcast, and the guy asked me how our anniversary was, and I was joking around, and I said something like, "Hey, I said, yeah, the anniversary was great. The day after the anniversary, I didn't know who was going to make it to year two,"
right.
and I was joking. It was a joke. And then the headline said, Mike Hill says marriage is in trouble. They're going to go to get a divorce, and not reading the full story. And the only reason I put that out there and I had a follow up to it and people listened to the message was to show people, once again, exactly what I was talking about, that even though we appear to be in a perfect marriage from the outside looking in with other people, we can put that out there all we want to. People know I've had issues in the past, and people know that we argue. And I don't want people to think that we sit around here every day like, I love you. No, I love you. No, I love you more. I don't want people to think that's the case because we're human and we're in a real relationship, but we're in a strong relationship where we want to fight for one another and we want to make it last. And we want to, if you look at us as this great couple's goals or whatever, if you want that to be your goal, you got to understand that it takes hard work. Takes dedication. It takes fighting sometimes and getting through those fights in order to make it to that point. So I don't want to just put out the glorious things and the wonderful and the glamorous and the glitzy things and the me kissy facing all the time. I want to admit sometimes that, hey, we had an argument and things aren't great, but we're going to work through it and we're going to make it work for us.
See, I feel like when I see some of these programs with these couples who are giving advice, they don't really say that. So hopefully a network watches this interview and they give you and Cynthia some kind of relationship joy, because I feel like that's real.
Yeah.
That's the real thing that I think a lot of people are missing when it comes to talking about relationships. That
But
is not
that's
only
important,
fun.
right? That's important though, right? It's important, not just relationships, but in your personal life. It's important for people to know that you are human, that life is not perfect, that you can be vulnerable, that you can overcome that you can fight through all of that. So yeah, hopefully somebody will give, if not us, somebody that is a real couple, an opportunity to show what a real couple is all about.
I love that. Now you've shown your real side of the couple, but you also shown us the real side of you being this amazing public figure on television, being a reporter. Now you have done sports, you can do lifestyle, you can do entertainment. You've shown that you are very versatile. Why is versatility important to you?
Oh my gosh, that is the key word. Versatility has kept me in this business for 27 years. Versatility has been the versatility in trying to be a really good person and a good co-worker has kept me around. I think I'm good at what I do. I think I'm great at what I do. I think that the versatility though, and being a good person has sustained me and helped me to elevate and to stride in this business. Versatility is, you can't be a one-trick pony because the business is constantly changing. And you can be hot today, and then 3 years later, nobody knows your name. So if you are trying to stay in one lane, all of a sudden what happens when that lane is closed off by a roadblock? Where are you going to go? So what I've always done is, like, I had one main highway, but I got all these off ramps that I take, and they all go to the same direction. So if I go on the off ramp over here, it's still going this way. It's still going this way to the left or whatnot. So I've always been curious too, of just wanting to learn everybody's job and to do everything in new different sports. That's why when I was at ESPN, I didn't want to just do Sports Center like all the other anchors did. I wanted to do Sports Center. I want to do NFL Live. I want to do NBA Tonight. I want to do Numbers Never Lie. I want to do every show in the building. And I got a chance to do every show in the building. And then so, like, being in sports, I was like, you know what? I don't want to just be known as a sportscaster. I want to go in a lifestyle. So I started doing Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood, or whatever. And then that's like, I want to do a little news. I want to do a morning show, BNC. So I wanted to show that I can branch off and be somebody else, because once you do something for so long, you become pigeonholed. And it actually happened a little bit to me, because once you go to ESPN or you have Fox Sports, people call you a sportscaster. And I don't mind it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I want to branch out from being known as a sportscaster to being known as a broadcaster, and emphasis on broad, because what I do in front of the camera is broad, not just sports, like you said, lifestyle, entertainment, hard news, whatever I need to do. I could talk about politics. It's important to be versed in all of that so that you can always be somebody that somebody's looking for to hire.
See, and I resonate with that, because that's something that I've been trying to do for myself. And to see you kind of just like literally saying all of that just lets me know I'm doing the right thing, because
Yes,
you're
you
never
are.
gonna be pigeonholed. And I think a lot of times, especially for us as like Black folks, very easy for people to say, okay, we see you like music, we're gonna keep you only as a music journalist. Okay, you talk really well about sports on Twitter, Mike, so we're gonna keep you in the sports world, where it's like, no, wait a minute now, because I can do a couple things. So I think it's great that you harp on that and that you push for that. So that's a beautiful thing, Mike.
And keep on doing that, Ty. Keep on doing that. That's going to keep you around for a long period of time. Don't ever allow somebody, like, you can be great at one thing. Like, I know I'm great at sports. I know I can conquer sports. I was at ESPN and Fox Sports, but now I'm like, I want to challenge myself, and I can be great at this too. Give me an opportunity to see me in that light, and not just look at me as somebody that does sports, because we would be offended if somebody came up to you and said, just stick to sports. You'd be offended. If somebody just stick to life. So you start talking about politics and you got great opinions about politics or whatever, you're reporting on politics or entertainment, and somebody all of a sudden, well, no, Ty, just stick to lifestyle. You'd be offended.
I would be very offended.
You'd be offended. So why do it? We're more than that. We're so much more. Our abilities, especially Black people, we just versatile, man. We can do a lot of different things. We are strong people, man. We've overcome so much in this country, whatever. And I'm not just trying to separate Black and white or whatnot, but at the same time, I'm talking to us right now. And it's like, so we cannot allow anybody to tell us that we can't do more than what we've done in the past. We should want to challenge ourselves to learn more about not only our culture, but everybody else's, and learn more about all the different genres that are out there to make us better people.
I love that. Now, Mike, let's get a little bit real here. So let's chat about BNC real quick. Now, it's been
Okay.
all over the news about the cease operations. Some former employees have been coming out, discussing their sides of different things. But I wanted to ask you, what was your experience like with the company? And if you can let us know, like in your terms, like what do you think happened?
My experience was, I will say that BNC was necessary for me personally. Like I said, for all the reasons I said before, because it gave me an opportunity and it gave me a platform to be on a morning show and to show a different side of what I can do and what I'm able to achieve. I had a lot of fun doing it. There are times where I didn't have a lot of fun because, we were talking about a lot of trauma that happens in our community when it comes to Black folks. You're talking about the Derek Chauvin murder trial, talking about the trial of the killers of Ahmaud Arbery, even the Ketanji Brown Jackson confirmation hearing, you're seeing and hearing all of this racism and all that type of stuff. That gets embodied in you. And it was having an effect on me. I will say that in the year of time I was doing it, plus the mornings I was getting up. But it was necessary, it was needed, and I'm thankful for that platform. Now, what happened at BNC is embarrassing, it's shameful, it's sad. I don't know exactly who's at fault, so I'm not going to speak on the record. You hear a lot of things, you hear a lot of different situations and why people are mad. So I can't speak on that because I wasn't within the inner sanctum. I was doing my show from home and whatnot. I do know that it wasn't a great environment from what a lot of my coworkers are saying. There at Tallahassee, it was a toxic work environment. And that's sad because once again, it's a Black network and we got to do better when it comes to that so we can get more opportunities. I don't know if it was, should I blame Shad Khan, who was the investor who pulled his money, but then you see that how much debt they were in and they were spending a lot of money or whatever and he wasn't making that. Can I spend his money? Can I be upset at that? But I also think that when you have a network, you have to have investors who are invested in that network. And if you have an investor who is invested in Black folks, they have to be invested in Black folks in Black news and not just want to make money off of them. Hear what I'm saying now? You understand what I'm saying? Investing in Black folks isn't just about making money off of Black folks. You have to invest in something. You got to understand, you got to nourish it. You got to nurture it, I should say. You got to nurture it. You got to see and watch it grow, because in the beginning, what network do you know right out the gate jumped out and took off and made a lot of money? Not one. Now, own network is as lucrative as it is now, as great as it is now, they had their issues. CNN had their issues. ESPN had their issues. Fox Sports had their issues in the beginning. But it took time, money, and resources and patience for it to work out. And unfortunately, we didn't have those things when it came to BNC.
I think because when I was seeing a lot of clips from BNC, what I loved about it was for us, by us. And it made me want to be a part of it, because I was like, oh, this is great. Like seeing all these amazing Black people in the morning shows, like a lot of positions that I don't see frequently on like linear television all the time. And I think that although it was unfortunate what happened to the network, I think this just opens up the door and shows that like we have people like Mike Hill, Mark Lamont, who have been on these amazing, have their own shows with this amazing platform that was what it was, and showing that like Black people can be in positions to lead morning shows, to lead things like Good Morning America, to lead things like just a lot of amazing, great, different, shows that we see in the morning time or linear television. So I feel like it opened up more doors, even though that chapter is closed. And I gotta commend you for that.
Thank you so much for saying that. We are like on Start Your Day, and I can only speak for Start Your Day. And I know we had great shows in primetime, Mark Lamont Hill and Charles Blow and Aisha Mills and Yadid Tawaldi and everybody else. And look, I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish in a short amount of time. I just wish more people would have known about it first and foremost. And I think that was one of the biggest issues when it came to why it didn't sustain, because nobody knew about it. The most publicity we got from BNC was when BNC went under. That's when you started seeing it trend. And that's when people started saying, well, what is this? We had no idea this was around. We would have supported this. So that's kind of bittersweet to hear that. We would have supported it if we would have known it was around. And so I think they could have done a better job of knowing that. But yeah, I think we showed that we are capable of doing something and putting something on for us, once again, by us, showing our stories and putting it through our lens and giving it the right amount of time that it deserves. So we ask for these types of things, and I'll go beyond BNC. When we ask for these things as Black people, when we say we want more movies about love and Black love, we want more recognition at the Grammys, we want more recognition at the Academy, we want more Black news channels or whatever, we have to support it. And we have to get behind it. We have to look and research and find out, does it really exist in the first place? And then once we find out it exists, we need to support it and tell other people to support it so that we can sustain it, so that more and more of these types of things can be built, like the Ebony magazines and everything else that's going on in the Blaze. You know, those. So when you talk about these Black publications and everything like that, if we don't support it, it's not going to be around, because outside of Black and white, when it comes to especially white investors, the most important color for them, for the white investors in a lot of instances, is green. And the same thing for Black investors. It's the green. It ain't black and white, it's green.
Yeah, definitely so. Is there anything you'll miss about BNC that you're looking for into your next role? And do you have a place in mind that you would like to continue to report at?
That's a good question. One of the things, I miss the camaraderie. I miss my crew. You know, sharing our like brothers, just we kind of went back and forth. Like some days, like, oh, you ain't my best friend today, or we had that back and forth. So I miss that somewhere else. And I just think that, you know, from what we were able to accomplish, we had some really good interviews. We had some great moments, man. So I'll always keep those memories. And as far as moving forward, I just want to go where God places me in the right position, to be honest with you. I want to be in a position where if I'm in front of the camera, that I'm hosting a show that has the resources, that has the advertisement, that has notoriety, that has the great producers that want to make it work and will make it work, and just something that's going to be sustainable. And I just want to be happy, first and foremost. You know, the money is important, don't get me wrong, but my happiness and my joy and my peace is more important than anything in the world to me right now. So I'm going to go wherever God tells me to go. And it might not even be in broadcasting. It might be in acting. I might be doing more of that. So we'll see.
Yeah, because you
tuned.
definitely just tweeted after you watched Snowfall season finale that you
Yeah.
were interested in appearing on the show in the next season. Now, have you been taking some acting classes? Are we gonna possibly see you in some acting gigs this year? What can you let us know?
The sky's the limit. I will tell you this. I have been doing a lot of acting lately. Over the last year, I've done a lot of acting, from plays to commercials to series, TV series, and even a couple of films. So what's crazy is none of it has been released yet. So hopefully if they get released and get released soon, then you'll see a lot of me popping up pretty soon. But once again, I think that's always been my passion. The reason I got into broadcasting is because I wanted to be an actor, and I just kind of deferred my dream for a long period of time. And now it's time to go there. I do believe that God pushes you in directions when you should have jumped a long time ago. And he's been telling me to jump a long time ago, and I just put it off and say, you know what, it's not the right time. I don't feel comfortable. I got these responsibilities, whatever. And so God will say, okay, well, I need you to do this right now. And 2 days before BNC folded, and I'll share this, and I never share this with anybody. 2 days before BNC folded, I asked God, like, give me a sign, show me something, tell me what I'm doing, what I need to be doing, what needs to be happening in my life. Unfortunately, it happened to BNC and the other employees, but 2 days later, that's when it folded. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know it was going to happen. So I was like, well, I guess that's the sign.
That was the time for
that
you,
I should be doing
right there.
something else. So I believe and I listen to God, and he ain't know me yet. I still got a lot of things I need to work out in my life, but I put my trust and my belief and my love in Almighty Christ, and he ain't never steered me wrong. And I don't think I know he ain't bring me this far to leave me.
I love that. Is there a show that you're watching right now besides Snowfall that you would love to appear on, or anything that you are watching that you want to appear on?
Oh yeah, I mean The Shy, Snowfall. Those are two of my favorite shows. I always said I'm going to be on season 6 of Snowfall. I'm gonna
Okay.
manifest that. That's gonna
You
happen. I got it.
manifest that right now.
I'm gonna manifest that. I'll do that. I can look like I was back in the 80s. I can do that. We can put a nice little Jerry curl on me and anything. You want to do
Okay.
that? I'll make that happen. But yeah, Abbott Elementary is cool. I love these shows, and I want to do other shows outside of just like Black culture too, like Succession. They need some Black people on Succession.
They
I would
definitely do.
love to be. That's like
I
my favorite
just
show right
started
now.
watching, Mike, and
Whoa!
I'm interested. I know I'm a little late to the game. Twitter is chewing me up on
Mm,
the show once I talk about it, but I'm definitely late. But it's really good. So
that's my show. I love those dysfunctional billionaires. So yeah, absolutely.
it makes you realize I'm not the only person that's like that.
There you go.
Now you also
Yeah.
tweeted this, and I want to get your opinion on this. So you tweeted, "God is good. God is able to do all things
Mhm.
except fail. Believe, thank you, God. What is one of the best things God has done for you in life thus far, and why?"
Wow. Ooh, that's good, Ty. One of the best. Oh my gosh, one of the best things he's done for me in my life, and why? He has best thing. Wow. Well, obviously my kids. Though those are blessings that will continue to give. Bringing
Right.
Cynthia into my life is another great thing that God has done. But I think overall, I think God has shown me what my purposes. I think it's not maybe answer that you want to feeling. What God has done for me in my life is He's always given me like these signs, these omens. I've always listened. He's always pulled me in directions when He's always told me where I was going to go before I went there. And I felt like it was some kind of innate ability. I was like, I know it ain't psychic. I know it's God, and God speaks to me. And God, when I listen to God, He leads me in the right direction. And I don't want to preach here today, but I'm just like, I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful and so happy that God is in my life and giving me peace. And like I said, He ain't done with me. I still got a lot of things I need to clear up and work out.
Right.
But having Him take me and move me into the right direction towards my manhood to make a difference in other people's lives, because I feel like there are so many things I still need to accomplish. People look at me and say, he's successful. I don't feel successful. I feel like I've had success, but I don't feel like I'm successful because I have not attained my full capability. And there's what God has put inside of me as far as a tank is concerned, what He has as far as my capacity as a tank is concerned,
Yeah.
I'm only at about 45%. So He's talking to me constantly. And so I think that's the best thing that He does for me is that He continues to talk to me and leads me in direction, pulls me out of situations, and go through in my life when I feel like burdens, they turn out to be my best blessings. So when I lost my job in Dallas, burden to a blessing because I went to ESPN. When I left ESPN and people's like, are you crazy for leaving ESPN? That burden turned to be a blessing because it brought me to Fox Sports. And now BNC, people look at this because I went through all of that but stuff in the past. I look and say, well, I've been through it. I don't have burdens. I'm smiling because I know my burden is eventually going to become a blessing. And I'm just waiting for God to move.
You gotta put that on the shirt. My burden will become a blessing.
Oh yeah, that's my saying. I say that. I tell people all the time. I like what you think are your burdens usually turn out to be your best blessings. Think about it. So that's why when things happen, when it shut down, I was sad for the people who lost their jobs. I'm still sad for the people who haven't been paid. I really want to push for them and make sure that they get their money. But for me, I was actually happy. I felt relief. My whole life, my demeanor over the last 3 or 4 weeks have changed because it was literally bringing me down because of what we were talking about the time in the morning. I had to get up. I was a different person. Cynthia and I were going through because of all the stuff that I was, dealing with at that particular time. But because of that day and when they said it, I felt a sense of relief, to be honest with you, Ty. And I was like, you know what? This looks like a burden to a lot of people, but this is going to be the blessing that I need. And once again, it's maybe because He's pushing me in the direction I need to be in.
Now, my final question for you before we wrap this up, Mike, is this. You've done a lot. You've been in this game for 2 decades now, 20 plus years, which is amazing. A lot of people can't even say that.
Mm.
What legacy do you want to leave behind?
Mm. You're good. I like you, brother. Oh, I like you. Because you're real, like you're asking real questions, man. I like that. These are what legacy I want. I want to leave behind a legacy that I cared, that I made a difference, that I entertained you, but I informed you. I always want to be an entertainer. I want to inform you, but I want to entertain you. I want to make a mark and make you smile. So my legacy, when I leave it behind, is that he cared and that he made me smile. That I learned something from him, but he made me smile. He made, like, the energy is so important. So that legacy is so important for me to, like, okay, he made a difference in this world. He informed me and he made me smile. That's like, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't be known for that? Because, I got so many different plans to help other people. It ain't just about me. I know it ain't just about me. It's about helping other people. I want to bridge the gap between Black and white and help us to learn one another a little bit better. I want to help our community. I want to go back and give, and I'm going to build a community center in my old neighborhood in Bessemer, Alabama. I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to buy the block that I grew up on. I'm going to tear anything down that's on that block, and I'm going to build a community center for kids. That's leaving and making a difference in people's lives. That's also informing them. And then when you think about it, it's going to put a smile on people's faces. That's what I want to do. That's my legacy, man. And I plan to make it happen.
And this is why God continues to bless you tenfold. Mike, thank you so much for me today. You were phenomenal before we hopped on this call, but you're even more phenomenal as we leave. And I just think you're great. Keep being awesome. I really want to show with you though. I want a reality show with you, and I want to follow your life. Like, I feel like you have such a great time. If Andy ever does House Husbands, hopefully they look at you, because I think you have a great story, and I want people to.
Thank you, man. And real quick, like, so people say, like, and people think I'm reserved or whatever. I think if you put the cameras, I like to have fun, bro. Sometimes I have too much fun, but I just know how to, you know how to edit yourself. Like when you out with your friends, you're on television or whatever. Like, hold on, certain images you don't want to put out there because I don't think people are ready for it, because it leads to more controversy. But yeah, give me a reality show. I'll show you a good time. I'll show
you. Do it. Let's say right now, Andy was like, I'm making a House Husband spinoff. Yeah. And he asked you, would you do it?
If we had some control, if he made me an executive producer. I'm a business person too. I'm like, yo, I gotta have some control. I want to know the production team, and I'm not doing anything to embarrass me or embarrass our community. I'm not doing that. I'll have fun, but I'm not going to do anything that's going to embarrass them or try and bring us down. It's not going to happen. Not doing that.